Alright, pretty soon we're going to be installing PSC's power steering kit. Comes with the aluminum reservoir, new belt, idle pulley, all the hoses, hardware you need, as well as the pump with the pulley already attached to it. So stay tuned, we'll do an install video on this. Pretty good stuff though, looks pretty nice. Alright, the first step is going to be to remove the airbox. Mine's the factory with a drop-in K&N. So to do that, you loosen up this hose clamp, unplug your mass airflow sensor. Also, I already did it, but your PCV valve hose as well. Once you have that disconnected, this just pops right off. Pull the connector out and pull up, and it should come right out. Next, you're going to want to get your power steering fluid reservoir out, the factory one. The new one is going to be much nicer, aluminum. But start by taking out the old oil. I have a siphon that I'm just going to pump the old oil out. And obviously I'm not going to reuse it, so you want to make sure you get more power steering fluid as well. Once all the fluid's out, there's a 10mm bolt right there. So you just grab a deep socket, 10mm, and take that out. Then disconnect your hose lines. For that, you're just going to need a standard channel lock or vice grips. Take that clamp off, and there's one on the other side as well. And there's the other clamp right there. So again, just your channel locks, vice grips, slide it back. You might need to work that hose off if it's been on there forever, but I recently replaced my reservoir, so it is probably going to be pretty loose for me. Next step is to remove the factory belt. And for this, just put your 3/8 ratchet on the little square end. It's right there, and make sure it's on the tightening, and then you push down. You might need a little bit of a help with a cheater bar or breaker bar, and then take the belt off just like that. Time to disconnect your line that goes to the power steering on the bottom here. For that, it is a 16mm open-ended wrench, and we'll get that removed, and then we'll take apart the pump, which is 3 bolts. Right now there's 3 13mm bolts on the back of this pump, and in order to get to them, you got to go through the holes in the pulley. There's one right there, there's another right here, and then there's another one right there. So remove those 3, and the pump should come right out. And this is where the 3 bolts were. 1, 2, and 3. Next step is going to be to remove the idler pulley and replace it with a new one. So I'll show you how to do that. Idle pulley bolt is also a 13mm. Just reverse it off and switch it out with the new one. And new one just goes back on. Make sure that the hollow end is going in, and make sure also when you tighten this up, it is center with the bolt. Just tighten that down. Make sure it spins freely. And this idler pulley is a bit larger than the old one, just for size reference. Putting the new parts in, we're going to start by installing the new pump. And they did supply one single bolt for the very top. I believe, I'll double check the instructions. But use the factory ones on the other two, and then one of them you have to use this tinier bolt that they gave you. Alright, per the instructions, use the factory hardware on the 2 o'clock and 8 o'clock position. So this one and this one down here. The other bolt that they supplied is going to be in the 4 o'clock, which is right over here. So we'll go ahead and put that in right now. Alright, now we're going to be getting the reservoir set up. I already put the clamp on it. It's pretty easy. Just a couple bolts on each side. Take them apart, clamp it together. That's the mounting part. We're going to get these fittings put on. You want to put a little bit of oil around this O-ring here to prevent it from binding when you put it in. You don't want that gasket to get ripped, so a little lubrication will be needed. Both of them have it. And then you just thread them in, tighten them up. Don't go too crazy, but make sure they're tight. Alright, got them tightened down. I did put a little bit of power steering fluid on those gaskets so they went in good. Tighten them down, so we'll get it mounted now. According to the instructions, this is the hole you want to drill out to a 5/16. It's the furthest back hole. This wire loom was actually in this hole. I just pried it out and then drill that out and then put your bolt through. And then after that, we'll line it up with the other end, mark our hole, and drill that as well. Got the reservoir mounted, nice and secure. So then we'll move on to the lines now. The lines are just going to go down there and connect to the power steering pump and also the return line, which is right there. We're going to have to cut that, put a adapter connector piece in, put some hose clamps on it, and route it to the pump with the new hoses. Okay, got the lines ran. So those are all buttoned up. Just a word of advice. So my suggestion is, so put that side on first, clamp it down on both ends, and then run your hoses, and then you'll have to make a cut to the 90 degree that goes to the power steering. Take this off when you get your cut, and then slide this on and use some power steering fluid. Slides right in, use some strength, and then tighten it down, and then clamp this back on right here. Then for the return line, got that spliced into the factory line. They come with a little adapter, and that's what that looks like. The adapter's in the middle there. Both lines, the factory line and the line that came with the kit. Then clamp it down two sides. Both sides get clamped down. Just gotta put the belt back on. And then you guys know I have the hydro assist already, so there's no need to tap the box or anything like that. So after that, we're gonna bleed the system, and I'll show you how to do that. To bleed the system, we gotta jack up the vehicle first. So that's what I like to do. We have the front jacked up, spins freely, and then we're gonna add in oil, or I'm sorry, I keep calling it oil, power steering fluid to the reservoir, and we're gonna work the wheel left and right without starting the vehicle first, and then once we get the majority of the fluid through the lines and the pump, we'll turn it on and do the same thing and work all the air bubbles out. Got it all put back together. The whole system is bled. And thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. See you in the next video.